And, they knew that the first batch wasn't any good. And what kind of monsters are these people?
Corporate executives interested, bottom line.
It's unbelievable what goes on today.
Yep.
I mean, 50 years ago, people would have never thought of doing such a thing. Talk about immorality.
It's part and parcel of the corporate structure, and you take a corporation that runs, it becomes an entity all by itself. It runs strictly on the basis of money. Money is the lifeblood of the corporation. If it's in the black, it's breathing. If it's in the red, it's dying. The only thing they care about is dollars. It is the nature of the instrument. I mean, the logic is almost unavoidable. It's more money, more money, more money. And inevitably that leads to some very unfortunate and even tragic results.
Yeah, you're right. I suppose it's always been there, but not to the extent that it is now. Anyway, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh. Anyway, got a few questions here. This is from Tony. It says, how are the Democrats going to win in 2010 if the market's going down and gas is going up? I think that's a good question. So I guess in 2010, maybe the market will be rallying close to the election. That's over a year away. And it says, what events will they pull to get reelected? Well, who knows? They're willing to do just about anything. And like our corporate executives. Also, with gold holding at the 930 range, do you think it's going to go lower? It could go down to 1925. I don't think it's. I think if it wanted to go lower, it would have already done it. And it doesn't seem to want to break down. A lot of physical buying, and so I think it looks okay. We're not very far away from a breakout, so it could come. And we never said it was going to be easy. We have to fight our own government, which is disgusting. Unbelievable. I got to bring this up again. This is why Ron Paul's H.R. 1207 is so vitally important. It's the most important legislation in 100 years. And the reason why is an investigation will show all of the dirty things that the Fed's been doing, including rigging all the markets. All of that stuff will be available to us. And they'll shut the Fed down and just like that. And the good news is there are 258 co-sponsors. I got that this morning. 258, which is astounding. I mean, for all intents and purposes, the bill's passed. I mean, that's a major majority. That's 40 more votes than they need to pass in the House. And that's why I've been telling people, go after the members of the Senate, all of them, on S-604. It's a bill by Senator, what's his name? Do you know, Alfred?
No, I don't. I can't tell you. I don't have any idea.
He's from Vermont. I don't know. Sanders. Bernard Sanders. Okay. Anyway, strange bedfellows, but we're very happy to have them along. And start pounding the senators, because this thing's going to pass in the House. And it's going to expose everything that they're doing. I mean, we won't even have to push the close down the Fed. The public will be screaming and yelling at their congressmen to do it and get rid of the Fed. And all we need after that is trade legislation to put tariffs on goods and services. And once we get them down, we can make our way, no matter how bad the depression is, we can make our way out of it.
I understand.
Anyway, we got another message here from Zenshin. That's the name. Thank you for your tireless efforts of helping us. If people could only grasp the wealth of information you provide, well, I should have read this beforehand. Twice every week, they know what a great value your newsletter is. Even if people have no investment plans, as a news source that covers the world, the IF is unequaled. The question, we've been trying to think through the arising of the coming inflation. Classically, inflation is too much money chasing too few goods. Our problem is seeing how too much money will get into the hands of the people. Could you describe how that might happen, or explain other avenues? Good question. I do not think that we are going to have major price inflation. We'll have it in commodities in one form or another. We're seeing it in food. We're seeing it in, particularly in petroleum-driven products. Copper has just gone from $1.35 a pound to $2.40. It's backed off to around $2.20, I think. Oh, my prices aren't in front of me here. Here they are. I hate to quote something and be wrong. Hold on a second. I don't have the closes today. This morning, copper was $2.25. So anyway, there's going to be inflation in that area because the nations are dumping dollars by buying commodities. They'd rather have the commodities than the dollars. I don't blame them. Mm-hmm. But where is the inflation going to come from? We have had deflation for 6 years. 5.5 years ago, everybody else started increasing money and credit in varying degrees. At one time, the European Central Bank was up 14.5%. Now it's around 6.8%. England is still 17.4%. The U.S., which is the Federal Reserve, is 18%. And so they have been, for 6 years by the U.S. and 5.5 years by other major nations and smaller nations as well, increasing the money supply and credit. And as you all know, having listened to these programs, that we have an increase by the Fed and the Treasury of a commitment or already spent $14.8 trillion. And that's just going into the system. We also have the Fed, which is going to, by the end of September, monetize, that we know of now, monetize about $2.5 trillion worth of bonds. Those are Fannie and Freddie's and the agencies and U.S. Treasuries and the toxic garbage that they're buying from the banks. And then the banks take the money that they get for the toxic garbage that they got, which are bonds, and they take that money and they buy treasuries. So like a daisy chain. Mm-hmm. And so to answer your question on inflation, it's going to be monetary inflation. That's what it's going to be. And the inflation will be in financial assets. Well, many other kinds of assets will deflate. Commercial real estate has got at least 30 to 35% to go on the downside. And that's more garbage on the bank's books they can't get rid of. Residential real estate overall has probably got 20% more to go down, and it's going to last in both instances until the end of 2012. So this ain't going away anytime soon. And it also means that the Federal Reserve is going to, along with the Treasury will be creating bonds. The Federal Reserve will be creating money out of thin air. And so between the two of them, they have to continue to create new money between now and the end of 2012. And so, at a minimum, an inflationary or hyperinflationary period will stretch from now over the next 2.5 or 3 years at least, and maybe longer, but probably 3 years is my guess. The people who are behind the scenes, they have messed this thing up.